Hello everyone, today we're looking at one of these. This is a Motorola International 3200. I've been getting a few requests to do a video about one of these. I've got probably about 4 or 5 of the 3200s and I think a pair of 3300s. The International 3300 is pretty much the same phone as this. Looks wise, it is a tiny bit thinner. This is a 3300. On my right is a 3200. Looks wise, they are pretty much identical. The inside though is a little bit different because the 3300 doesn't have any of the accessory contacts that you normally get with any brick type phone, like in the background, or any other brick phone, like for example this is just one off the pile. This is an 8000M, and it's got a whole bunch of contacts there for the accessories. The 3300 doesn't have that. Motorola got wise to the game back in the day, and they moved all those contacts to a little thing down here. If I can get it open, there we go. And this is basically your accessory port. God knows why they changed it, but they did, and that's the end of that. The 3200, on the other hand, still has all the contacts there. This 3200 actually has the battery eliminator, or the battery adapter, however you want to call it, which is this additional piece here with the green and red LEDs. I'm going to quickly power this down to show you what I mean. This is the battery, obviously, and this is the battery adapter. Now the beauty about this is you can actually power the phone on as well as charge the battery with one of these. Real useful tool to have, actually. Whereas usually you can just power the phone on with a car adapter. So this is a 3200, just to give you an idea of size. This is a 3300. This on my left is a 3300. The 3200 on my right is marginally thicker, and I say marginally, I do really mean by a fraction. I mean it's negligible. It really is. A couple of millimeters, if that. SIM obviously goes in the back like so. Some of the earlier generation 3200s will only accept 5-volt SIM cards. The more modern versions accept 3-volt and so forth. As far as I know, they don't accept USIMs, which is or iSIMs, the modern day Apple crap phones, you know, the little tiny SIMs, because they work on I think they work on like 1.3 volts or something like that. The old style SIMs, the credit card size SIMs, they all worked on 5 volts, and the pop-ats, the very first pop-ats, also worked on 5 volts. Something to look out for when you're buying one of these, the 3200. The 3300, I think, much later, so they do take the more modern SIMs, but I don't think they take the iPhone SIMs, or the iSIMs, or USIMs, or whatever they're called. Anyway, this has got the stock antenna on it. This is how it was. Pretty decent condition. It's a little bent, actually, if you can tell, but so what is the difference between a 3200 and a 3300? Well, the 3300, the only difference I can tell is that on the 3300 there is a menu function where you can send an SMS. On the 3200 you can only receive SMSs. The 3200's also got a little LED there, the 3300 hasn't. Looks wise, that's about it really. There isn't much else that you know, pops out and differentiates the two. I guess the electronics inside the 3300 is a little bit more compact, because they obviously shrunk the phone down in size, but I'll do a video about the 3300 at a later stage. This is a 3300. They did also do a super duper rare 3500. I do have one of them as well. I've yet to find it though. It's somewhere in storage. I do have a record of having one. I will try and do a video of that as well. No doubt not many people have seen an International 3500. Certainly none of the elite fellow collectors that I have been in touch with recently say they've got one. So It's a real rare phone. I will try and do a video about that as well. So let's power this one up. I'm just going to fire it up with a battery. It's a little bit more compact without the this battery adapter thing. Similar sort of principle. The little logo that you just saw that's just disappeared. Oh, it's got a low battery. Well, I may have to use the battery adapter after all. All right, let's fire this bad boy up. Like so. Make sure he's on. There we go. So this little logo here means that no phone calls are possible. When that disappears, it obviously picks up service. There you go. So now you can dial and basically make and receive calls. Let me try and place a call. Try and find a phone that I can use. If I remember the number to that SIM, actually, that's a good point. So just dial that. And hopefully that should ring. Now it's important to note some of the very first. Here we go. This phone obviously doesn't support caller ID. Some of the very first versions of this phone, when you did have a call with caller ID, it crashed the phone actually. It didn't like it. So also, if you put a SIM in, if you have one of these and you put a SIM card in and you fire the phone on and it powers straight back off, drop me a mail or a comment. I'll tell you why that is. Real temperamental, some of the earlier versions of this phone. It's not the phone and it's not the SIM. It's an incompatibility issue. But there is a bit of a workaround. Most of the 3200s that I've seen in my time of collecting have not been service provider locked, which means if you buy one, there's a good chance that you can put any good SIM in it that's compatible with it, and obviously it will work. Which makes these phones quite useful, because you do get a demon good signal. I mean, a real good signal with an antenna like that. You ain't gonna go very far without finding an area where there's no service. So I'll quickly whiz through the menu on this. Some people wanted to see a better end the call actually. There we go. So through the menu, what is that? I think you need to press that. So yeah, menu. Oh, it's not letting me access the menu. Why is that? Oh, you got to press M+. So general, interface, call, monitor, call restrict, security options, basically some other options, and that's about it. Let's go into options real quick. Display signal strength, that's always a good one. So full strength, great big whacking. Even though we're in the basement, this is still picking up a real good signal. And this is 2G signal. This ain't 3G or 4G or LTE signal. This, service. This is just a 2G phone. So forget your 3G or your 4G or your 5G or none of that. This will only operate on a 2G network. These international 3200s are only good for GSM 900 service providers. They will not work in the Americas. North America, Canada, South America. These phones will not work. Canada, North America, and Central America, Southern America generally use GSM 1900. They also use other things, CDMA primarily. I think they did at one point use amps as well, which is obviously now shut off. But they did use what's that other system they used with the push to talk? The Nextel system. Forgotten what that's called, but they got a whole bunch of other systems. They got funny permutations with CDMA. They got CDMA 800 and various other different versions, but nowhere in America is the 900 frequency band free for cellular use, as far as I know. These phones will not operate anywhere in America or Canada. They will work in pretty much every country in Europe. In fact, I would be very surprised if there's not a country in Europe that doesn't have GSM 900. They will work in Africa. Most African countries nowadays have got GSM 900. They'll work in the Middle East, and I know that because I used one of these out in the desert in Dubai. They'll work in the Far East, you know, Asia sort of places. Australia, New Zealand's also got GSM 900 cellular networks. These will all work there. It's just in the Americas where these phones will not work. I mean, they'll power on, but they won't pick up service. But anyway, so going back to the menu on this, what else we got? Was it display signal strength, display battery meter? Let's go for that. Battery is full. Well, that's because we got the charger on it. What else can we do? Options, display, battery save on, and that's about it. Okay, so general status review. This is all basic stuff. If you watched any of my other videos going through Motorola menu, it's pretty similar to most of these phones. Interface, call, monitor. What's in there? 1 minute audible warning, repeat audible, one-time audible, auto displays. I'm not sure what that is. I'll leave that off. Display call timers, display call meters, program rate. So this phone again had, you could program a per minute rate, and it would display how much you spent. How much you burned on phone calls, how much of your hard-earned money you burned on phone calls. It's not programmed up though. I think nowadays most tariffs come with unlimited minutes anyway. So, but most of these menu options, y'all might laugh, but this was steady the art back in those days, man. You know, you get to work out how much money you spent before you got the bill. Hey, hooray! That was steady the art back in those days. Y'all might laugh at that, but you know, this was it. You know, it's worth noting though that Motorola was quite late entering into the GSM market. If you look at, you know, this early to mid 90s. Nokia was the pioneer of that era when it came to GSM phones. Nokia had the market back in those days. Motorola had a really good product selection for amps and CDMA and TDMA, you know, in those sorts of cellular technologies. But they you know, they bathed in the glory of that, and they never really looked ahead to GSM 900. And I think this is one of the very few phones they released. You know, at the time when Nokia already had, you know, an established product line. So Motorola were a bit behind when it came to GSM 900 phones. But certainly there's 3300 and the International 1000, and that's a transportable. I mean, that's a beast. So worth noting anyway. So size-wise, I will take the battery charger off this just to show you how it compares to some of the other phones that Motorola did for amps or CDMA or, you know, the like, the analog technologies anyway. So here you got a regular old 8000M. This is branded LCT. This is, I believe, out of the UK. I got another one up there actually. We got a couple of classics. This is a gold edition. This is an Express Exchange. This is brand new actually. Size-wise then, compare that to some of these. Obviously the 8000M is the biggest out of the lot. But you were roughly similar sort of size as a classic. The classic, I think, came out after the 3200. Certainly, I think these ones were mid to late 90s. This is a 1992 phone, I think. And then obviously you got the big boy. And this also has the battery charger, which is this cable here. And these are the ultra thick ones. Try and do a video about that, and a pulsar as well at some point. But yeah, size-wise, they were, I suppose, the smaller end. If you compare that to a Pulsar like that, or you know, one of the really early phones with the Dynatac Motorola 8000X displays, this is small by comparison. So, but anyway, that's all I got to say really about these, about the 3200 anyway. Feel free to check out some of the other videos that I have on here, and if you all got any questions, drop me a comment or give me a shout. Oh, there's a classic as well, I forgot to mention. This is slightly smaller, but drop me a comment or drop me a quick email, and I'll try and help as best I can. I always say I'm not an expert, but I do have a wealth of knowledge on some of these phones. So hit me up with a thumbs up if you like the phone or the video, and please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.